So, about 4 years ago, I was going down the rabbit hole looking at different reviews, different discussions about headless guitars. From my background, I was always a headstock guy. I remember when headless guitars started to really kind of blow up, maybe 10 years ago. And I really was so confused, like scratching my head, like, why are these things so popular? Like, they look so ugly. Like, can they really be any good? So one night I decided to go meet up with a good friend of mine, my buddy Jason, longtime friend, great bass player. And we're just kind of catching up on everything with what's going on. And I hadn't seen him play in a while. And I remember asking him, like, dude, I was reading last night about these headless guitars. And I'm just trying to figure out, like, do you think they're any good? I mean, do you think they live up to the hype? And he says, oh, dude, I didn't tell you. He's like, I've been playing headless. I was like, no way. And then from there, he just like whips out on his phone. He's like, yeah, man. He's like, I've got two Kiesel headless basses, the Zeus models. I was like, really? I was like, that's crazy you say that, man, because I've been looking at these things for a while and I'm just trying to figure out, like, do I need to get on board with this? And he proceeded to tell me just all the benefits of just the comfort, the lightweight benefit, the balance, just overall, just great ergonomics, just having a more compact, a lighter instrument. Now, with Jason coming from a traditional background with like more Fender, like P basses, jazz basses, things like that, I thought to myself, well, if he can make the switch, certainly I can make the switch. So later that night, I did a little research. I was diving through listings and Reverb, and I ran across a really good deal on a Kiesel headless guitar, this model being the Zeus. Since Jason already had the Zeus bass, I was like, you know what? If he's happy with it, maybe I'll grab a Zeus guitar. I talked to the seller, super chill guy. We went back and forth. He was able to answer a lot of my questions. We ended up working out a good deal. When I unboxed it, I knew right away I had struck gold. I was like, dude, there's no way. I mean, this was a one-piece swamp ash, raw tone, solid color Zeus, and it was about 5.5 pounds. And I'll never forget that first impression. I was like, dude, no way. It was like a light bulb went off. I started to realize, okay, now I see what the hype's all about. We've got a 5 pound instrument. It sits in your lap perfectly, whether you're sitting or standing, just the balance, just everything feels so effortless. Now, for me, my primary background with solid body electrics, for a number of years, I pretty much only played Paul Reed Smith guitars. We're talking your basic custom 22s, custom 24s, more of a full-size instrument, not the lightest, but certainly not the heaviest either. And I was just completely blown away. I knew I had to make the change. Now, if we're to fast forward to the present time, as of today, I did end up selling that Kiesel Zeus. For me, that was really more so kind of an experiment just to see if I was going to be on board with the whole headless thing. And from there, I decided to spec out my own Kiesel headless, which I did do a review on. Check out my Osiris on the rack back there. It's got some really nice upgraded exotic woods. Super happy with it. It's treated me quite well. Now, keeping that story in mind, I guess the question I want to present to you all is, if a person experiences just that incredible revelation of checking out headless guitar, does that necessarily mean that a person is going to divest in all of their headstock models and completely commit going forward to headless? Or do you think that guitars with headstocks and headless can coexist in peace and harmony? I want to know, what do you guys think about that? Now, in my experience, I did decide to part ways with a lot of my, I suppose you could say, more traditional guitars. Sold off all the Paul Reed Smiths I had. They were just a little too bulky for me. And I just got used to that comfortable, that lightweight shape, that amazing balance, that slightly thinner neck. It just, everything worked out. In years past, I was never that concerned about weight when it came to guitars, but there's something about it. Once you check out a 5 pound instrument, you know that that is now an option. You start to think twice before you decide to throw on an 8 pound guitar if you're going to stand and play for an hour. So that being said, it's been an amazing experience. I have no regrets trying headless guitars. I don't think they're necessarily for everybody, but I do think they have a purpose. And I do think it's fair to say that they can cohabitate with your standard headstock guitars. One of the biggest advantages of a headstock, I feel, is you have more leverage when it comes to like your tuning keys. For myself, I tend to play a lot of heavier strings, tuning down a little lower. So when you have a lot more tension, sometimes like those like little fine tuners on the bridge, it's a little bit more difficult to turn. You just don't have the same leverage that you get with a regular headstock tuning key. Personal taste, not saying it can or cannot be done. Again, there's headless guitars, headless basses. So it goes both ways, but for me, I do prefer just the comfort of tuning when I have heavier strings on guitars. The other thing I'll say related to my use with heavier tunings is, For some reason, I just feel that I get more resonance, more sustain, just like the instrument seems to vibrate a little bit more naturally, like with the additional length from the end of the headstock to the nut. I do think that also contributes to if you have a standard headstock or a reverse headstock. On reverse headstocks, you have that low string. It continues significantly further past the nut, which sometimes can help increase tension for those low tunings. I see it all the time. People talk about it. Should I make the switch to headless? My response to that, I don't think it's necessarily a switch. I think you can do both. Maybe you just want something for a couch guitar. Maybe you just want to have something that's really light if you're going to go play a gig and you just don't want that extra pressure on your shoulder. I think we can do both, guys. I really do. I'd say with confidence, there are certain instances where it just makes a little bit more sense to have a headstock. It all depends on what you're trying to accomplish, your playing style, your genre of music, and what works best for you. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Have you tried headless guitars? Are you opposed to headless guitars? If you decided to pursue headless guitars, did you end up selling all of your headstock guitars? I want to hear your thoughts down below in the comment section. I hope you all can appreciate the story behind how I came to discover headless guitars. Huge thanks, big shout out to my friend Jason, great bass player. We have played in bands in the past. I got to give him some credit there. He definitely was the one that introduced me to Carvin and Kiesel guitars many years in the past, and also had encouraged me to try out headless guitars. So once again, Jason, thank you, my friend. That's going to wrap it up for this one, guys. Share your opinions, share your feedback. I want to hear what you all have to say about it. Give the video a thumbs up, subscribe for more. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day.